Hello and welcome back to Air Defense Force 3.1. Next up, I think the cascade will be fine for this, considering it's a giant bug. Come on, game, come on, wake up.
Eliminate all giant insects.
Oh. Yeah, that spider is colossal. Oh,
It's so huge.
Is it already dead?
Already huge. This one's bigger than that.
Shit.
There is a king of the giant insects. It's tough.
I think it's already dead. Okay. No, it's back, it's back. I think it just had a very prolonged knocked-out animation. Okay. The bugs are everywhere, but that's fine. Oh, there's multiple colossal spiders. Shit. Get him away. Let me shoot at this. The issue is, I don't remember who's who. I don't remember who I've damaged and who I haven't. It's gonna make things difficult. And all the spiders, because I'm pretty sure those guys spawn more of them. All the small spiders make this more difficult than it otherwise would be. Possibly the purpose of these small spiders. But yeah, okay. I mean, we have nearly cleared the... Oh, hello there. Still alive. Still alive. Don't get your hopes up. The entire screen is shaking all the time, which isn't very fun. How many of you are there? Jesus. One of them just got knocked into the air. Okay. It's fine. Okay, one of them is actually dead. For real. And how long... Well, if I miss all the rockets, it's gonna be alive for longer. Come here. Like, okay. Surely you're close to death. Yeah, didn't even drop anything, you bastard. Okay. Well, I mean, there's one of the colossi here. What's he gonna do about all the rockets flying towards him? Probably.
The enemy. Be careful.
Okay. Well, okay, never mind. We're going over there. I like how you can see them hopping around. Come on. Can we get a few of them? Potentially. Or maybe we just knock down a random building for no reason. Who knows? Oh, we got a couple. Again, the difference between a newbie and a professional player of this game is if they die in a mission or not. But in my case, I'd argue it's, you know, do you go in like what seems to be an idiot and get surrounded by enemies, or do you carefully wait for them? Carefully waiting is the newbie behavior most of the time. Really, I think the difference in skill in Air Defense Force games comes from having a good understanding of what fights you can or can't take. because there are, like, plenty of times, especially when I was newer at the game, that I would be either, shit, overconfident or just not confident enough. So, like, I couldn't properly size up the enemy engagement. I didn't, oops, quite know if I could take a fight or not. And basically, that's one of the biggest, I think, skills in this game. Just knowing, can I take the fight, or do I need to, like, run away? It's a good skill in, like, most games to learn. But I think, like, in a game where it basically being a horde shooter is a massive part of its identity, I feel like, it's a pretty important one. Also, I don't know if you've seen, recently there was this movie called The Odyssey. And I haven't heard a single bad thing about the movie from normal people. And then I saw a bunch of bad things about the movie from, you know, the unwashed people, which I find quite funny.
It's only an estimate, but we think that about half of the human race has been destroyed. When the enemy has taken over the sky, there is no place to hide.
Underground? Oh yeah, no, they have the big drills or whatever. But yeah, what I find kind of funny is, so Rotten Tomatoes, whatever, was showing a, like, 95% critic rating, which is obviously extremely good, right? And a 97% verified audience rating. And verified ratings basically mean that there is some kind of proof of purchase on something, right? And then there was this huge drama over, actually, if you look at the unverified reviews, it's like 56%, with a huge amount of people saying that they haven't watched the movie, very clearly repeating the talking points of their favorite YouTuber, who also didn't watch the movie. And I just kind of find that funny, because I feel like The Odyssey has finally, like, been able to prove something that I've long since argued for, and it's that if you can't prove you've purchased something, your review, or I guess not purchase, because there are plenty of things you can review without purchasing.
Choose loadout.
Like,
Rangers can
like for
Choose
games that are
loadout.
free to play, or
Rangers
like
can
for
equip
something
2
that's
weapons.
on TV or like on a streaming service, right? You can't tell someone you
Select a
watch
mission.
this show, but wait, I'm gonna switch to a.
Choose loadout.
Honestly, I'm
Rangers
gonna
can
switch
equip
to
2
the.
weapons.
We'll do. I'll get this one because of the increased DPS. Wait, what is the reload?
Choose loadout. Rangers
The same. Okay, it's gonna be
select a
necessary, I
mission.
believe.
Deploying.
Because, like, you know, oh, you didn't buy this on Blu-ray, you only watched it via streaming, and not a real critic. No, obviously not, but there has to be some kind of proof that you've actually interacted, seen, engaged with the thing. And watching somebody else, like, review it, that's not a valid way of engaging with something, you know? And I feel like it's interesting because there are so many games in recent times where basically the exact same thing has happened.
The plan to swallow the Earth whole is slowly progressing.
There's some
And even now,
game
new
that
eaters are
have,
appearing in
like,
the skies.
you know, drama spawn around it for whatever
Become a
reason.
dead planet.
And,
We don't yet have a way to counter
then
them,
it's like,
but we
oh
can't
yeah,
stand by and watch.
the reviews are like a
We
7
need to
or
attack
like
the
an
Earth
8 out of
eaters
10.
and slow down their progress
But,
as much as possible.
the unverified user reviews on Metacritic,
Engage in battle.
where you can't confirm if somebody played the game or not, those ones are super low. And then you see, like, the low reviews, and they're like, this game is slop. This company fell off, and that's the entire review. and it's kind of funny.
The cannons under the Earth Eaters.
However, then again, some verified reviews have gone to shit. I know there's like the Splatoon Raiders game that's released recently, and while most of the reviews said it was a decent game, there were just some reviews that were like from sites you wouldn't normally search for reviews from. I think there was one from, I think it was the fucking Guardian, that gave the game a 4 out of 10, basically complaining that the single-player experience doesn't have a strong multiplayer component. Just like utter bullshit, you know? It's like the standard sort of internet fanboy. I talked about this before in a video last year, where one common, like, fanboy argument that you should watch out for is, like, not taking a new game on its own terms, but on the terms of the previous games. So, like, instead of saying, you know, Splatoon, how well does Splatoon Raiders translate Splatoon gameplay into a single-player campaign, and from the reviews I've read, it's remarkably good at it. No, no, no. Splatoon is different, and therefore bad. Watch the thing open up now that I've wasted all the missiles. But yeah, it's one of those things where they're basically making those shitty, like, internet gaming fan arguments. Essentially, you'd see, like, one of the, like, I know the term Nintendrone is, like, archaic these days, but, like, something you would see one of those types use to, like, or, like, you know, that sort of stuff. That's kind of the level of argument that I've seen. Now attacking Nintendo. Why? Because a lot of these review sites know that they're otherwise not gonna get attention. I mean, from review sites, people like to make fun of IGN because they've had takes in the past that were, how shall we say, not exactly the best. Not even that terrible, all things considered. Just like, eh. But the thing is, people still listen to IGN because, like, their guides are decent, and most of their reviews are sensible enough for people. Of course, if you're some kind of, you know, if you fashion yourself some kind of hardcore hyper gamer, maybe you'll have some complaints. But, in general, they do a good enough job, and that's fine, you know? You're not gonna, like, look at them like you do, like, you know, maybe a website or a reviewer that, like, for instance, specifically reviews the genre that you're interested in and is on the same wavelength as you, unless they're, like, a person at IGN who you know is at the same wavelength as you. You get what I mean, right? But then you have all of these fucking sites. You have Metro. Like, you have the fucking, Metro. You have The Guardian. All of these fucking sites trying to have their own game journalism. And, like, it's a fucking tabloid trying to do hit pieces on random video games for clicks. Yeah, what do you expect? It's gonna be shit. Bringing some British tabloid quality into the fucking video game space. Yeah. It's honestly kind of funny. Though, obviously, as somebody who actually likes video games as, like, a medium, I can't say I agree with their practices. Mostly because I don't. But yeah, oh my god, how? When am I gonna get a new fucking gun, man? Come on. There we go, finally the body's dead. And oh, they're running away. And I'm very well aware that, this is one of those whatever the fuck sort of thing. Oh! Oh, there's just a new layer.
Another one appears when one falls. How many do they have?
Oh, okay, yeah. destroy. I guess enough of the last layer was destroyed that they just straight up said, "Okay, we're going to regenerate a new one," and I can't.
This isn't good. We're being outnumbered.
Shit. But yeah, like, I don't know. And it's again one of those things where I feel like, you know, in regards of like games journalism, it's like a really naughty word still for some people. Where it's because for most people, gaming journalism isn't something that they engage with on like a level where you can have an actual discussion about like the current problems within the industry. It's mostly just, you know, IGN gave Sonic Unleashed a 4.5 out of 10 back in like 2008, and I haven't gotten over it to this very day. And that's where the discussion begins and ends for most people. And I feel like that's a problem. And it's one of those things where it's like, why do you care about, you know, video games? Well, because, shockingly, I care about the state of my hobby. Because it's my hobby. Because I've seen, like, the argument of, like, well, why does it matter when somebody is wrong? Well, it doesn't matter when somebody is wrong individually, but when you see a pattern of, like, repeated behaviors, especially, like, when you see problems in an industry, like, you know, game journalism, which is inherently connected to gaming, because it's game journalism, it's a huge source of information. By the way, game journalism includes YouTube. Don't think I'm just talking about IGN. I'm talking about, like, you know, Joe, the YouTube bro, who, like, you know, makes YouTube videos. I'm talking about that as well. And honestly, YouTube is much worse in some respects than most gaming journalism sites, because even the worst fucking Metro review of some game,
Enabling self-propelled rocket launcher has arrived in the
it's not gonna call like the new Pokemon game
Omega
like
team has
trash
arrived in the combat
because
zone.
did you hear that in the new Pokemon game they made the is it really drawn? No, it just disappeared temporarily.
They have the power to cover
Yeah, because, oh yeah, in Pokemon Legends ZA, none of the, like, they didn't lock any of the cosmetic items to, like, any kind of gender. So, you just, you know, you're not gonna see that level of astute criticism on an actual reputable game journalism site, at least. But you can see it on YouTube. You're not gonna see, like, fucking, you know, even, you're not gonna see digital journalism sites trying to do hit pieces on the new fucking CEO of Xbox before anything really even happens, because it's like, hey guys, did you hear that Xbox hired a woman? It's finished! You know? And I know it's like, well, why would you bring that up in this context? I'm trying to explain how, like, the YouTube, like, completely independent side, let's call it alternative gaming journalism, can often be so much shitter than, like, let's call it mainstream game journalism. Because there's zero quality control. The only quality control that you could even call that is, will somebody actually watch it? But considering how many fucking Tung Tung Sahur videos are and how popular that is, you can probably guess that, people don't really care about quality. People just care about something that engages their eyeballs enough. And that's kind of it. And because of, like, and because of that, because people are more engaged with somebody who makes a video about old Triple T more than they do about a video on, you know, fucking some nerd shit. The nerd shit... Oh, again? Like, the nerd shit just doesn't get as popular, and so you're left with,
It's no use.
you know, that
This
kind
way,
of
our
stuff.
damage will just increase. All units, retreat. We'll regroup and recover.
For real? I haven't even gotten all the... that's enough. But yeah, it's one of those things where, like, people will try to be engaged more, and so, like, there are a lot of, like, drifters who would have maybe, especially like 10, 11, 12
Choose
years ago,
loadout.
been
Ranger-
like, I
Select
don't want to say
mission.
Nintendo grifters. I'm gonna switch to a sniper just
Choose
because I feel
loadout.
like it may be
Rangers
useful.
can
Lysand
equip
is
2
really
weapons.
cool, but it's slow as shit. You know what? Fuck it. Lysander
Select
it is,
missions.
and if I die,
Deploying.
I die. Like, let's say 10 years ago, right? Roughly, maybe a little bit later. If you wanted to grift,
The transport ship is coming!
you would have had, like, you would have been like an anti-SJW, right? In the political sense, right? But if you were trying to grift in regards to specifically gaming and not politics, then you would be like a Nintendo geezer or whatever, right?
When the hatch opens, aim at the hatch.
But these days it's different because instead of being, you know, a Nintendo, instead of being a Nintendo guy, now it's a lot more popular to just be anti-current thing. Because back in the day, while like hating on companies was popular, it was still a lot more popular to make videos that were more kind of hypey in scope, you know, trying to hype people up. And then, like, something pandemic, worsening material conditions or whatever. And then it kind of just started getting more and more negative. And here we are with the Switch 2 releasing last year. Anything that came out had to be negative. Arguably it started sooner, but it kind of sucks because even if you are like critical of many of the like things Nintendo does, right? You again don't want to be associated with the crowd of like morons who just continuously repeat, you know, random fucking shit that they don't even fucking verify. Like, I understand, like, you know, not liking Nintendo's direction with Mario Kart World, but calling it, like, a disappointment, really? Like, because, like, you know, because there's a big difference between a game that's, like, disappointing and between a game that you may have some problems with, but you still overall enjoyed. And I feel like that's a big difference between, like, somebody who actually plays games and between somebody who actually, you know, just looks at the games through the internet.
Emergency transmission. An army of lizards has appeared in Sydney. The Air Force
Lizards.
attacked, but ended up
The
suffering
lizards?
great losses.
Lizards?
Yeah. Because, like, the issue is, I feel like, I mean, I've had those complaints hurled at me whenever I did send a screenshot of one of the Air Defense Force games because, you know, it doesn't quite look like a game on the same level as Cyberpunk. And the issue is, you know, oh yeah, the game isn't the most beautiful thing out there. And then, like, they try to push Red Dead Redemption onto me. And then I asked them, okay, nice aura farming, bro, but what gameplay does it have? You run around and, like, very slowly and cinematically skin animals and do, like, missions. And, like, okay, but I gotta blow things up with the fucking rocket launcher here. And then switch to a colossal sniper rifle and down an enemy saucer. What do you mean? And I feel like Pokemon has been quite, like, honestly the most negatively impacted because, like,
Deploying new units now.
well, what was the story, right? Pokemon Sword and, well, okay, basically, with Pokemon, there's always, like, an amount of, in the Pokemon community, these are called Gen 1ers.
Go, go, go!
They're like people who grew up with the first generation of Pokemon, and they never grew past it, because, basically, like, you know, within a Pokemon fan's existence, right, there's gonna be a moment. It's either gonna be a moment where you kind of stop meshing with the series and leave because you realize that you're not interested in, like, slow, cheerful, turn-based RPGs about capturing fantastical creatures. Or, alternatively, you just keep playing them because you like the turn-based RPGs with, you know, the creatures. And so in the beginning of the Switch one's life, there was Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, outside of the Pokemon community, people don't really know much about this game because people don't really talk about that one that much. I've seen most of the complaints being about the ones that came later. But this one was a very problematic moment for Pokemon fans because in many ways, especially to the people who did play the game, I know some people who didn't play the game complained about the tree textures, but in many ways, Pokemon like Sword and Shield, while it didn't look that bad graphically, felt like a step back in so many like other directions. The story felt like a step back. The gameplay was Pokemon, it was fine, but it felt like it was undercooked and any of the things they had planned maybe weren't planned out too much. Like the story with the fucking main villain was X, some of the locations felt like they really didn't try. You know, and then it just kind of felt a little bit flaccid. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus came out after a bit of a wait due to the disease. And Legends Arceus was such a massive breath of fresh air, specifically because it was like, you know, the first Legends game. And the whole point of a Legends game, for those who don't understand, that's the reason why there's Legends ZA now. They're still mainline titles, but they're like mainline games that don't fit in with the main sort of series. So you could imagine, like, you know, we have, mainline Pokemon is like your more standard sort of turn-based affair. Legends ZA later became a lot more experimental, but Legends Arceus already tried to have some things which, like, made it different. Like, maybe a little bit less turn-based. So, like, for instance, you know, whenever you're catching Pokemon, you don't have to battle them. It's, like, kind of a stealth game, where you have to, I mean, obviously, battling is still a huge part of the game, but a decent chunk of the game is just capturing wild Pokemon so you can research them, and then all of them will appear on the fucking farm back in the village. Or in the town village? I don't remember. But basically, yeah, that was the thing. It was a lot of different ideas, and they worked really well together. It didn't look the best, but it was really fun to play. And then Scarlet and Violet came out. It had even more cool ideas. It had a gimmick, terrestrialization, which was really cool, especially in the competitive scene. It had so much other stuff. What's the next mission? Oh god.
Choose
okay.
loadout.
I'm switching
Rangers can
back
equip
to
2 weapons.
DST.
Choose loadout.
Yeah. Here be
Select
dragons.
missions. Deploying.
Yeah. Like, ZA later changed more, but Legends Arceus was so cool in so many ways, and then Scarlet and Violet looked like ass. The thing is, underneath the game which looks like ass were a lot of really cool ideas. And I know I'm biased, because I played Pokemon Emerald as a kid when I was like 10 on an emulator on my phone. And that is how I first experienced Pokemon, yeah. And then when I got like Pokemon, specifically Pokemon Violet, because I wasn't even aware of it until I saw this new Pokemon on Twitter, and it was Iron Valiant, and I thought it looked really cool, and then I remembered, oh yeah, wait, shit, which game is Iron Valiant in? Oh, it's in Pokemon Violet. Okay, I'm getting Violet. And that was the beginning and ending of, like, my thought process. Yeah. I should probably be taking the story a little bit more seriously. However, How many times are they gonna repeat the same sound effect? Anyways, yeah. The issue is, the game is still pretty fun. I know it runs kind of... It both looks and runs like ass. But, like, holy shit, the game underneath that was pretty fun. Both with the way that, like, you know, the Pokemons were set up, the new mechanic, the way, like, it's a lot faster, weirdly enough. People don't realize this until you go and play some of the older games. And while the older games obviously aren't bad, all of the random encounters are kind of, you know, pace breakers, especially later on. And in these games, the random encounters are still random encounters. They're just programmed in a sort of real-time way where they feel a lot less arbitrary, right? It's all just faster, and I appreciate that. Because instead of, like, slowly having to find that one Pokemon, I can just find, you know, a place where I know the Pokemon spawn, and then, oh look, there's the Pokemon I need, let's go capture it. I randomly came across a shiny Iron Bundle when I was searching for my Iron Valiant, and then I accidentally hit it with Slash instead of Full Swipe, and it dropped to 1 HP after a crit, and I captured it. And for some funny reason, I specifically remember, I just screamed, "Get in my balls," the moment it got captured, because I found it funny. I was in a, I think I was in a voice call. Would have been even funnier if I were just alone, you know, 2 in the morning, fucking playing Pokemon, just screaming. I'm pretty sure I was in a voice call with friends. When was that? Like, yeah, that was like, I think 2023, probably. Yeah, I don't remember. I do take weird hiatuses from my games. Though to be fair, I did kind of give up on the main story and only complete it after I did most of the... So, like, okay, what I did was, I did a descript of the main story. I just didn't finish... I didn't like the fucking, Steam Star battles. They weren't bad, they were just not interesting to me. So after, like, doing all the gyms, and doing all the... Because I did all the creatures first, so I could explore the map. Then I just kind of gave up. Although I don't play that actively, so, like, even by the time I wanted to replay the game, Hidden Treasure of Area Zero had the, like, Teal Disc, Kitakami, right? And Kitakami doesn't look that... Honestly, it looks decent.
This was their plan from the start. And finally, they reached their final form. They are larger and stronger. The old giant insects don't compare to this.
Okay.
They're coming! Aim! Yes, sir!
Oh, yeah. I did Kitakami then, and only then, after I did Kitakami, I, went back and finished the main story, and then I did the, like, Blueberry Academy, and, I've gotta say, and then I remembered, oh wait, that there's more than the Blueberry Academy. Oops, and then I actually finished the game. I don't want to say last year, but, like, it was a while ago. But that's not a condemnation of the game. I got Nier Automata fucking years ago and played it up until that one village you get to after the ballerina boss, I believe? Or it was the boss fight of those two that bleed. I'm trying to be unspecific in case somebody hasn't played it, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, and I don't even know how to describe it, because I haven't played it. And yeah, that's like the end of my experience with Nier. If I drop a game, sometimes it genuinely means it was too good. And I get distracted sometimes, okay? But yeah, regarding specifically Pokemon though, it's kind of interesting how many of the criticisms against Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were never about anything except, oh, look at how the game looks. Game Freak is so lazy, look at the graphics, etc, etc. And it made a lot of the discussion feel kind of weak. And then...
Yes, sir.
Oh, look. Graphical Pokemon Sky. Two things happen. For one, Legends EA, and for two, Palworld. And here's the problem. There are so many cool non-Pokemon creature collectors that you can buy and play right now. You have Monster Hunter Stories. They're all a little bit different, right? From the big titles, right? You have Monster Hunter Stories. You have fucking, what is it again? Digimon Time Stranger. I'm forgetting the full name. Then there's Dragon Quest Monsters. That's like a classic one, almost as old as Pokemon, I believe. And then you had like some other games, right? But then Palworld came out, and it's basically an Arc clone. And I mean, it's an Arc clone with a bunch of Pokemon designs, but you know what? I'll get to that next time. So join me next time to hear me talk about that. Bye bye.